Friends, what are y'all doing? Okay, good. Because while I was minding my business being nosy, I hadn't found out something I think y'all want to know about. Okay. Now, let me be the first to say that when I'm wrong, I'm rarely wrong. I'm rarely wrong, friends. I know y'all kind of feel that way too, but let me just tell you, I'm rarely wrong. It's like big Virgo things over here. Never, ever wrong. But the 0.1% of the time that I am wrong, I will stand corrected. So y'all know when I be on the internet looking around, minding my business, being nosy, I be finding out about stuff that I be like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to call my friends immediately and let them know what's going on, because baby, this is information that y'all should have been aware of. And I'm sorry that nobody told y'all, and if they did, they probably try to say real fast like this so that you didn't know about it. But we're gonna get into some things. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, Antarctica is hiding something, allegedly, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, for nations to come together and agree not to touch something and then they actually do that thing and not touch it is beyond me. Are you not touching it because something is wrong? Because something is going on? Because you're not trying to get your head bit off by something from another world, another planet? We did a podcast story time episode on this one time before, and I feel like I just barely just scaped over the top. Just that's all I did. But we about to just pull the layer back and go down in it because something ain't right. Number one thing that really got me that I need to stand corrected on. That was my 0.1% mistake. Y'all count that. Charges to the game. The one thing that I really want to correct myself on is Richard Admiral Byrd's diary entry. So in one story time, I told y'all that he saw Agartha, this town, this crystal city, right? He did, according to the diary, but it wasn't in the Arctic Circle. So according to the timeline, the flight log entry, that would have been February 1947, that would put him in Operation High Jump that was in Antarctica in 1947. Started December of 1946, but it ended early. It was supposed to be a 6-month mission, and it ended early. And when I tell y'all why it ended early, y'all gonna be like, oh my gosh, so hold your horses because it's coming. But let me get through the story. So in that story time, he talked about flying over this this green pasture, right, where he was sucked into this inner earth, and he was escorted down this pathway to the master, which was another being, right? And apparently that he saw swastikas and things that would, you know, make one believe that this is Nazi Germany. But all of this took place, apparently, according to the diary entries. Now, he never released this out to the public, but I'm going to tell y'all what he did say. In February of 1947. So I started thinking to myself, well, what was going on around that time? Operation High Jump. Task Force 68, he took Navy ships of men to Antarctica to, you know, map the land, the coastlines, and see what's down there, see what's going on. And my thing is, what happened when you find something and you scared of it? You run, right? You're not going to stay down there and be like, oh, well, do you need a friend? You know, the only person to do that is like Beauty and the Beast. I would have ran, okay? I'm not staying down there. So that would, to me, make one leave early. But of course, when things happen, folks be covering up, they be lying, they be making up stories about what really happened. But you have a decorated admiral that's writing a diary about stuff that he can't say out loud. Ain't nothing wrong with that man. He not crazy. He was trusted enough to take ships, fleets of people down there. He was trusted enough to have these Operation High Jumps and paperclip and all this other stuff. But then when the stories start coming out and the truth start coming out, all of a sudden it's not credible. So let's continue. So in December, they get on this voyage. They go to Antarctica. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, this right here for me solidified the belief of aliens or something else in the ocean. In Antarctica, because they pack it up in February and they head back out of Antarctica. What's the closest continent to Antarctica? Y'all don't know? Chile. Okay. Of course, people will say it's what is it, friends? Tell me. Church house, Broadchurch. I'm going to get the name. I'm going to stick it in here because it's, it's escaping me at the moment. But the continent of Chile stretches down very close to Antarctica. So when they left Antarctica, they ended up in Chile. And the Chilean reporters were there, and though people told them some stuff about what happened while they was down there, and it wasn't just Admiral Byrd, it was the actual task force, according to the Chilean newspaper. And that task force says that they encountered an enemy that can fly from pole to pole at crazy speeds, okay? At increasingly high speeds is what they said. And they also said there were a lot of casualties as they were attacked by these flying saucers. Ain't nobody told me nothing, honey. Ain't nobody told me nothing about this. Now, this is I can't talk. Decorated admiral. This is like the highest level you can get. Leading ships, Navy fleets down to the coldest place, the most unknown place on this planet. And this is what they're saying they saw, and why their 6-month expedition turned into a 2-month expedition. So, y'all stuck yet with me? Now, of course, during this actual interview that they're telling the reporters as they're at this port, coming from Antarctica to Chile, the crew members is telling them that there was a fight that took place that ensued between these flying saucers and their military personnel. And Admiral Byrd said, I am not trying to scare anybody. According to the reporters, according to the paper, I'm going to put it up. I ain't trying to scare nobody, but we need to prepare for this. That's why they left early. Now, reports later came out and said it got cold and the winter got crazy. Y'all left in December. Didn't y'all know it was going to be cold? Y'all left in December. What did you think was going to happen? So after that, literally this happened in February, friends, in February. After February, in March, Admiral Byrd is debriefed by the Pentagon, March 11th. We ain't heard nothing else about it. Y'all know the Pentagon will shut it down right quick. It ain't going to be nothing that you out here telling nobody without us giving approval. And if you do, it's lights out for you. So is that not odd and strange that they would come back and say something like, everybody just agreed to say the same excuse me, I burped. But everybody just agreed to say the same thing, tell the same story, and they all lying. So now let's fast forward. This happened in 1947. We move on to the Cold War, 10 years into the future, just about, where we start doing space exploration. In 1958, NASA is formed, and we start talking about space exploration, right? We start getting ready to pack it up, head to the moon, do that kind of thing. But in 1959, the Arctic Treaty was signed by 12 nations. 1961, they banned any type of military personnel from doing anything in Antarctica. But first we started talking about going to the moon. We create NASA. And then in the next year, we all come together and say we're not going to touch Antarctica, and nobody is touching it. It's used for research purposes. And then my question is, what kind of research? Because there's not much life down there because it's so cold, right? It ain't much down there, So y'all know I did a little digging, because that's what I do when I be minding my business. I dig around, look for stuff, find stuff, and I come back and call y'all and tell y'all. It's just strange to me that we would go to the moon and sign a treaty all around the same time that makes one place off limits and another place that people can't reach, so they can't verify or validate that you actually went. Can't nobody just pull up like, yeah, I seen they rocket ship on the moon. I went by there Thursday. They was there, It's obtainable. We can't do that. And all the nations aren't like up in outer space having some type of space war, even though down on the earth, they don't mind clank, clank, bang, bang, bothering people, innocent bystanders. But everybody can just sit back and watch patiently and watch them just fly to the moon, watch them just do research in Antarctica. Is something not wrong with that, friends? Hold on. It's more to come. Hold on. I got more. Now, one thing these beings in inner earth told Admiral Byrd, according to his diaries, is that they only start ramping up activity, UFO activity, flying around and stuff like that, when we have some crazy stuff going on with the nuclear operations. And this was in 1947 that he's writing this down and recording what this being is saying to him, the master. And just so happened that year, a lot of UFO activity started to ramp up. You had Roswell incident in New Mexico. You had a lot going on. But one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is how many UFOs are actually seen around the water, coming in and out of the water. I'm gonna put some video footage in so y'all can see this, but I'm just tying all these things in together. I want y'all to stay with me now. Stay with me. And if you're losing me, just drop down in the comments and say, friends, we lost you. And I'm gonna come bring you back right now up to speed. So we have Operation High Jump happening in Antarctica in 1946 from December until February of 1947. It ended early, 4 months early, because of weather conditions, but the task force that was a part of that told reporters in Chile that they were attacked by aliens, UFOs, beings that can move from pole to pole with increasingly like astronomical speed. I don't know why I keep losing my thought when I get there. I can't, my brain ain't connecting them two together. And then after that, not even a month later, Admiral Richard Byrd is then debriefed by the Pentagon and no longer talks about it. And then expeditions stop. And then in 1958, we create NASA and start getting ready to pack it up, head to the moon. 1959, treaty is signed in Washington to agree that we are not going to do anything in Antarctica. Why? Is it because that's where these UFOs go and they travel in and out from pole to pole at increasingly fast speeds? Is it because they don't allow activity there? Is it because these UFOs, these beings, are actually us from the future? And we say Antarctica is off limits? Because that just don't make sense to me, friends. So let me tell you what they say researchers are down there doing. They're down there researching ecosystems, penguins, in the atmosphere, upper atmosphere and outer space. Why you gotta go to Antarctica to do that? The impacts on this particular continent the impacts that this place is receiving due to climate change. Why are we going to Antarctica to do that? You have the tundra in Russia. We have other cold places that you can study. Mount Everest, folks go there all the time. Why are we spending so much money to just set up camp in Antarctica and watch the sky and the ground? And we signed a treaty that that's all that we would do there. Why is it that we can all agree on that? So let's keep going. Let's fast forward. Oh, and I finally remembered the name of the island that's closest to Antarctica, which is Christchurch, New Zealand. I knew it was going to come to me, but y'all get what I'm saying when I say Chile is close, right? Okay, good. So let's talk about what are some things and discoveries that's been found in Antarctica. There is a 30,000 square mile hole that was found the size of Maine in Antarctica. If y'all don't believe these things is coming in and out of the earth there, that's got to be some type of revelation for y'all to know. Why is there a hole there? Where did it come from? Who made it? What is it for? What's the purpose? There was also plutonium and uranium found there that is used to create anti-gravity. So that would support an object being able to fly at incredibly fast speeds from pole to pole. Do y'all know how big the earth is? Did y'all just hear me tell y'all that there is a hole the size of Maine in Antarctica? Just on Antarctica by itself. That's crazy. And really, to be honest, friends, the Chilean government and other countries have been up on game with telling their people that, yes, UFOs are real. They exist. Here in the U.S., we just started learning about this a few years ago. And, of course, it started to be exposed during a time of heightened anxiety and fear from something else. So by the time they start telling us that we don't know what that is either, it's a UFO, I don't know what it is, and they stopped saying it was a weather balloon, we ain't care because we was trying to survive. Y'all get what I'm saying? So now that it's out there, other countries been telling their people for a long time. And there was even one video, and if I can find it, I'll put it in here, where this one government official from another country was saying, I wish that the U.S. would start telling their people the truth. They said UFOs were real. There was a discovery in the Baltic Sea of a rock anomaly that looks like a spaceship in a runway underwater. Why are we just gonna skip past that like it didn't happen? There are UFO videos of objects in the sky crashing into the water. When I say crashing into the water, I really mean going into the water. Okay. There's one that happened in San Diego. There's one that happened in Hawaii. These are recent, friends. These are recent, where people are recording. This one that happened in San Diego was recorded from a military personnel, where there was an object being trapped by a Navy ship. It was being tracked, not trapped, tracked. And it went into the ocean.
Pitch black night off the coast of California, newly leaked video allegedly shows one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unknown object in the sky. Then after a few minutes,
splashed. Mark bearing range.
And to me, that kind of supports this inner earth theory that there are beings here on this planet that live within inner earth, and they travel from inside that, that space to outside of it, whether that be through the water or through the poles. And Admiral Byrd's story in Antarctica kind of supports that. And it won't just from him. It was from his team, Task Force 68, the people that went down there with him. And I guess the people who didn't come back. Y'all got to hear me out on this. So I'm going to put the little quick video up of the San Diego incident and the Hawaii incident. Now, the Hawaii incident is hard to see because it was nighttime and she was recording with her phone, but it made the news. Now, let's take a look at the life form in the ocean and what we do, right? When that whole Titanic submarine thing happened, friends, the Coast Guard already knew about that because they monitor sounds in the ocean. And y'all remember how everybody was waiting and said it was running out of oxygen and all this stuff. But then they had a sound where they heard it in the ocean. Why are they monitoring sounds in the ocean? Why is it so important to hear whales talking woo, woo, to each other? That's not that important to spend that much money to invest into listening to the ocean, because there's some down there. Why do we know very little about the life that's in the ocean? How do we feel comfortable leaving this planet into a space that we have no idea what's out there? We just taking pictures and sending satellites, and we feel like we think we know what the conditions would be. And back in the 60s, we sent men to walk for hours, maybe 13 hours on the moon. But we ain't got the technology to go that deep down into the ocean because it's different. You spend a bunch of money listening to the ocean. You spend a bunch of money researching Antarctica. You spend a bunch of money going to outer space. Why don't we know what's at the bottom of the ocean? Why are there so many anomalies of things that look like spaceships, things that look like runways? Why are there UFOs that are seen coming in and out of the ocean? Why are there documented diaries from decorated military personnel, admiral, talking about what was inside the earth? Let me not get started on the bill from Nazi Germany. Friends, let me just stop right there. I'm going to just let y'all tell me what y'all think about this, because I've been rambling for a while. If y'all want a part 2 of to what's in Antarctica, alien life form, and if that didn't do it for you, baby, I could find out some more information, because, friends, this one did me in. And I genuinely think that it's not aliens coming from another planet and then getting here and choosing to crash. I think that these are beings, which is us from the future, that actually live here. And then we come up from the surface, and we may run into some technical difficulties with people who want to control the planet. And then you get things like Roswell. And you get things like what happened in the UK in the Rendlesham Forest. We're going to talk about it, friends. Woo, it's a lot. Y'all make sure y'all share this video, like it. Please like it, friends, if y'all want to interact with it, because then that helps YouTube post it and push it out there to people who don't know I exist. Run up the comment section. Tell me what you think. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, because y'all know they trying to ban TikTok, and we ain't here for that. So we friends. We're going to talk. We're going to do what we got to do. And I really hope I ain't get y'all up in too much of a tears, and I'm going to call y'all back later on, friends. Bye.